Hey guys, welcome to episode 4 of the Property Sourcing Show. We have had some technical difficulties, it would be fair to say, over the last 24 hours because I'm moving home, the Wi-Fi guy couldn't fix the Wi-Fi, now Facebook won't let me go live. It never works when it's supposed to. But guys, let's kick off episode 4 of the Property Sourcing Show. And today, guys, I want to delve into a topic a little deeper on a topic that I've spoken about inside the community earlier this week. Now, this particular topic, guys, is none other than what to do, how do I proceed when one of my potential investors says that they're interested in buying anything, they'll take a look at everything. How do I know what to bring them? Now, this is a really common problem, guys, really common problem. And I've seen it spoken about regularly inside the property sourcing and deal packaging world. It came up as recently as this week inside my own mentee mastermind session. And that's the very reason that spurred me on to go in a little deeper on this topic in today's episode. But before I do, guys, I want to give you the lowdown on my private masterclass that we have coming up this next Thursday the 29th of April at 7:30 p.m. Okay, the masterclass is called Find My First Investor. And it's really for anyone in the property sourcing or deal packaging world or private investment, property investment sphere who is struggling to get that very first investor or private finance JV partner on board. Okay, it's for you if you have found yourself looking under rocks and coming up with nothing each time. It's for you if you want to learn exactly what you need to do and where you need to maximize your chances of onboarding that first investor or joint venture partner. We had incredible success stories, guys, from the groups that joined the January and February sessions of this masterclass. Many of them onboarded several investors in the weeks that followed their attendance at the masterclass and subsequent mastermind with me thereafter. So guys, if you're struggling to raise investment and it's the one missing link on your journey, then the masterclass may be just what you need. We cover a 2-hour session on the night. 2 days later, I'm going to then get you into a private mastermind with me. I'll host it and I'll help you implement what you learn on the masterclass. Okay, now remember, guys, knowledge is not power. Knowledge is not power. Implementation is. So if you want to get involved, get investors, the link to do so will be below today's episode, or you can shoot me a PM and we'll get you hooked up. Now, let's dive into today's episode. The crux of the episode today, guys, centers around the dreaded words that we all hear too often coming from a potential investor's lips, and it's, I take a look at everything, I'm looking for anything. Now, as a sourcer, particularly if you're relatively new to the world of property sourcing, these words can and will strike fear and overwhelm into your mind as you try to ascertain exactly what the hell you can begin to source for this investor and where you should even begin. Here's the thing, guys, you can meet potential investors almost anywhere, attending networking events, telling everybody what you do, which I'm a huge fan of, by putting yourself out there on social media. On that note, if you are not doubling down your efforts on social media platforms to boost your property sourcing journey, to boost your property investment journey, you are missing a massive trick, and you will come to regret it. So I can speak with great conviction in this, but I've raised over £1 million in the last 12 months alone via social media. So I know it's a power, and I'm telling you that you need to pay attention to it. But let's go back to my original point, guys. When you are doing all the things that you should be doing to attract potential investors, then the law of averages state that you will indeed liaise with someone who says that they would be interested to work with you. And that's great. This is a huge achievement on your journey, but there is the devil's hidden in the detail here, guys. Not everyone who says they are an investor is actually an investor. Not everyone who says they are wanting to invest are actually in a position to invest. Not everyone who says they are an investor knows what they want, and that is where the potential for you as a sourcer to trip up or fuck up, quite frankly, is huge. And it becomes a real possibility. Now, this likely sounds quite terrifying, guys, and daunting at first glance, but there is a way to minimize the risk of dealing with the investors who say that they're looking at anything and everything, and it all boils down to one thing, your qualifying process, okay? Now, most of you will be familiar with a qualifying process, what it is with an investor. And if you're not, I'm going to keep this really simple. Remember, the premise of the Property Sourcing Show is for me to deliver you bite-sized, actionable points that you can take away and implement on your journey today. Qualifying your investor entails going through a series of steps to ensure that the information they have given you stacks up. That's on you to make sure that the information stacks up. So it will involve asking a series of questions about their property investment intentions, their past experience. It will also allow you as a property sourcer, property investor looking for JV partners, deal packager, it allows you the chance to build up a picture of where they're at in terms of experience, where they are at in terms of financial capacity, okay, to invest, and what their longer term goals are. The qualifying process, guys, with an investor is really a fact-finding process, okay? It is a bit of a probe, it's a fact-finding process. You will ask certain strategic questions to gather information, which in turn allows you, A, to ascertain if they are a serious investor, and B, to ascertain exactly what it is they're looking for. Now, the fact-finding process should be done in a fairly informal manner. Although we are deeming it fact-finding, it sounds very FBI, it needs to be informal for this to work. So inside my mentee mastermind group, I'll give the guys a list of around, I think it's 8 or 9 questions that they need, not maybe, need to get answers from out of their potential clients. Now, that might seem like a lot of questions and to be rattling at somebody that you've just met, but the key here, guys, to do the qualifying process effectively, is to work the questions in a conversational style. I can't stress that enough, okay? Conversational style, and not like you have recently been promoted to the Chief Interrogation Officer of the FBI. That won't get you very far. And if you adopt this hard-ass approach, you will soon find yourself with 0 investors. It's really important to point out, guys, that the investor who says, show me anything, send me something, I'm looking at everything, is really not an investor that you want to put time and effort into. That's why your qualifying process is so vitally important. So what should you do when you encounter an investor who is an anything, everything investor? So on today's episode, I'm going to walk you through how you can turn water into wine. My God, how good would that be if you could actually turn water into wine? I am, of course, speaking metaphorically, but the message remains clear. Let's walk through how you can turn the flaky investor, the anything investor, into a fully fledged investor who is willing to work with you and buy the deals that you source on their behalf. First things first in this process, guys, okay? You will need to ask questions that will give you some insight into their current circumstances, who they are, what they want from their property investment, where are they looking for their property investment. Asking questions that will draw out responses are vital, guys, okay? Vital. Naturally, you might be wondering how you can get those answers, and the answer is very, very simple. We ask teaser questions, okay? We ask teaser questions. Here, pen and paper at the ready. Some teaser questions for you guys to put in place in your fact-finding journey with your investors. Why are they looking to invest? Have they invested in property before? Really important question. If so, where did they invest? What type of property did they invest in? Okay. What are their longer term goals within their property investment journey? Are they in a position to invest right now? This is a really important question to get the answer to, guys, and I can speak with experience on this. You don't want to waste your time, your effort, your energy pursuing an investor, seeking out deals for an investor, only to find out that actually they're not in a position to invest for 6, 8, 12 months time or longer. That is going to be a pain in the fucking ass, quite frankly. Finding that out at the final hurdle would be a real sickener. You think of the effort and the time that you would put in to sourcing these deals to find out actually I can't invest for 12 months, I won't have the cash. This highlights the importance of the qualifying process, guys, okay? Another teaser question to ask, what is their financial criteria? What is their budget? Are they investing cash? Are they investing using a mortgage? Are they investing using both? The answer to that doesn't really matter. You know, it doesn't matter if it's cash, mortgage, or both. You just need the answer, okay? Have they worked with a property sourcer before? If not, are they happy to engage your services as a sourcer to help them acquire their purchase? Again, guys, this is a seriously important question as a sourcer that you want to ask. You know, will you be willing to pay me for my services, okay? Now, if your potential investor has worked with a sourcer before, it signals to you that they are familiar, okay? They are familiar with the work that you do, with the services that you offer, okay? The value that you bring, okay? If they have never worked with a sourcer before, that's totally okay. That's totally okay. You can be the first sourcer to help break them in, but asking them if they're happy to engage your services is letting them know from the offset that you operate a business and that you expect to be paid for your services. You expect to be paid for the work in which you will undertake on their behalf. Now, any potential client who disputes this on the initial qualifying process or seems a little shady with giving a straight answer is not somebody you want to pursue working with, okay? They are not somebody that you want to pursue working with. It is important that they know that you can run a business, that you do run a business, and that any work associated with their investment purchase comes with a fee. It would astound you how many novice sourcers and deal packagers that I've spoken to who have never had a conversation about fees with prospective investors. Now, only to get burned big time in the long run, okay, when it comes to actually presenting the deal in front of them. Don't be that person. Get the process locked in from the offset. It will save you a world of pain and tears in the long run. Take that from me. That's a fact. The next step, guys, that you want to cover during the qualifying process is a biggie. And it's the one that many people tell me they're actually most nervous about doing. Okay, they're nervous about asking the investor for proof of funds. Now, I can appreciate that meeting someone relatively new and asking them for their bank statement would in most cases be deemed a bit full on, right? Understatement. But this is where your mindset shift needs to come into play, guys. And this is something I'm very, very passionate about, particularly within my property journey. It's getting your mindset right and realizing you're not meeting a friend and asking for a bank statement. You're onboarding a potential investor, client, okay? Switch it round. This is professional. You are meeting a potential client, and the ability to work together or not will boil down to whether or not they can make the criteria that is required of you by law as a compliant deal sourcer to proceed. And this is where we can actually make it much easier for ourselves, guys, you know, to ask for those dreaded proof of funds. We can state that we are regulated and compliant property sourcers, and it is required as an admin tech stage that identification and proof of funds are provided for your compliance, okay? That, guys, is how you take the sting out of asking for the bank balance and feeling embarrassed about doing so. Any investor who objects to this is someone you want to remove from your list immediately, okay? Those who comply are indicating the seriousness of their intent to move forward with you, and they are the investors that you wanted to work with. any serious investor, guys, worth their salt will not object to this request, and those that do are most likely worth giving a swerve. Okay, they're not people I want to work with. If a potential investor is unwilling to send you proof of funds as part of your onboarding process, how likely is it that that same potential client will pay you £3,000, £5,000, £8,000 or more for your services? My gut tells me that's a resounding no, and I would absolutely be swiftly moving along. It's once we get past these initial hurdles, guys, during the fact-finding process that we can then really drill down into their wants and hopefully turn their interested in everything approach and nail it down to a more refined strategy. That's really what we want to be at. So it's the proof of funds that's actually going to make the difference in you being able to do that. If someone says they're interested in everything, oh, I'm interested in everything, you know, I might look at a bit of HMOs, I might look at commercial to residential, I might look at buy to let, but their proof of funds show that they have £25,000 available to invest, then they don't have the funds. While there's nothing wrong with £25,000, that's a lot of money, but they don't have the funds to be investing and looking at everything because they can't finance everything. Okay, this is where we drill down into what strategy works best with the funds that they have available. Do they want buy to let, long-term rental investments, you know, okay? Do they want to maybe use your experience in your area, power team in your area to look at maybe HMOs for, you know, an increased return? So buy to let property converted into a HMO, but for a greater monthly income. Okay, do they want service accommodation for high cash flow, right? It's really important, guys, that when you're qualifying your investors, that you're drilling down like a boss, okay? Drilling down like a boss, or trying to pull their ideal shopping list from them. I'm a massive advocate of the investor shopping list, and it's something you must have as a sourcer. You should source to order. You should source bespoke. You should not be throwing mud at the wall and seeing what sticks. It's a fucking surefire way to drive yourself insane and actually not earn a penny by doing it. Okay? It is much easier, guys, to go to market with a shopping list than it is with a blank canvas. Take it from me, been there, done that, tried it both ways, shopping list every single time. These are the steps, guys, that I advise you to take to turn the I'm interested in anything and everything investor into a fully qualified, strategy-specific client that you can now get to work for in helping with their next investment purchase. I, guys, cannot emphasize the importance of this qualification process. It allows you the opportunity to weed out the time wasters, and there are plenty of them out there, but there are also plenty of credible, serious investors. There is an abundance of it out there. You just need to know how to qualify them properly, okay? So following this process, following my steps in the qualifying process allows you to weed out the time wasters and fine-tune the shopping list of those who are serious about working with you. Guys, I hope this has helped. Let me know your thoughts below. Feel free to share if it's been useful. Put your comments below. Let me know, what your key takeaways were, if you found it helpful, useful in any way. And don't forget, any of you guys who are listening to this episode today and are still struggling to find that first or next credible investor, we have a 2-hour masterclass coming up next Thursday night, 7:30 p.m., followed by a private mastermind with me 3 days later to help you implement everything that you learn on the masterclass. So if you want to get involved, the link is below today's episode, or shoot me a DM. I'll be back next Wednesday, please God, if my Wi-Fi is fixed, 7:30 p.m. with another episode of the Property Sourcing Show. More bite-sized, actionable steps, guys, that you can take forward and implement on your property journey today. Have a great day. See you soon.